Hi everybody, I'm Brandon Alter, and this is your Numinous Tarot forecast for the week of June 27th, 2019. And the card that's going to get us through this very first week of eclipse season, that's right, it's eclipse season everybody, is the Four of Swords in the reversed position. So remember, we are working with the Badass Bitches of Tarot deck this month for Cancer season, and the Badass Bitch featured on the Four of Swords is Pema Chodron. And if you don't know who Pema Chodron is, I highly suggest you Google that shit, because Pema Chodron is ferocious and incredible. She is a Buddhist scholar and teacher, and she really is probably the best person to help us on the journey of swords, because swords is the mental realm. So the Four of Swords is about mental foundation. Fours in the tarot speak to us about the foundations of our life, and we get that because fours are the first completion. Think about the four elements. Think about the four corners of the earth. Think about the four seasons or the four directions. Fours are when we get that first sense of completion. So this is about mental foundation, mental completion. But in order to get that mental completion, you got to go backwards. And that's really what the Four of Swords speaks to. It speaks to your ability to sit down and to go back to a time when you were in crisis, when you were in trauma, and to mine the gifts that are still waiting for you, to seek out those teachings. Pema Chodron is a teacher. And so the Four of Swords is where we teach ourselves from our own life experience. Now listen, I don't care who you are, you have suffered some sort of trauma. Just living in the modern world can be traumatic enough. And I'm not talking about working with the trauma that you're currently going through if you are going through some sort of crisis. I'm saying this week is the time to sit down and to prepare yourself to move backwards in time. And to go and travel and visit yourself as a child, when you were in high school, when you were in college, when you were in your first marriage or some sort of unhealthy relationship. And to go, what was really going on here? Because what you're trying to find is clarity. You're trying to mine the gifts. And that's what the Four of Swords gives us. It gives us that mental foundation, the clarity that we couldn't have when we were in the thick of it. You're not in the thick of it. You're out of the woods. You are safe to explore those events, those crises that were fundamental to who you are, but you don't want them to be holding you back. So the Four of Swords to me is really about going back in time and healing some of those mental wounds, which help to explain why we are the way we are, why we are triggered by the things that we're triggered by. The moon is doing some really beautiful things this week. So right now it's in Taurus, and we love Moon in Taurus because Moon in Taurus is sensual, it's Venus ruled, it gives us permission to eat good food and to maybe do a little too much shopping and to wear nice fabrics. And so I want you to give yourself the creature comforts that you need. Light a really gorgeous candle, wear a really beautiful robe before you sit down and go back in time to that traumatic situation and give yourself the clarity what was really going on there. All right, so next week, Tuesday, we've got a solar eclipse, and it's in Cancer. So solar eclipse is where we lose the light of the sun. And you think about it, what an eclipse does is it kind of dramatically takes something away, and then it brings it back. So we think of eclipses as our opportunity to release what is no longer serving us. And I would say with the sun in Cancer, what we're releasing is our resistance to honoring the feminine. Because Cancer is the sign of the matriarchy. And so what we're doing is we're going to shine a light to it. And we're going to shine a light to our own inner feminine. We're going to take away our resistance. It doesn't matter your biology. We've all got sacred masculine. We've all got divine feminine. And this eclipse can really help you. Also, we could think about shining a light to your own ability to make magic in the world, because Cancer is the sign of witchcraft, of magic, of intuition, of the high priestess. So this is your opportunity to also get rid of the old stories that prevented you from treating yourself as an intuitive being. And here's the deal. We're all intuitive. It's not something special. It's not a chosen few. It's just whether or not you want to work with the gifts or not. And I think that this solar eclipse in Cancer is your ability to release your need to do things in a logical way and to begin to do things in an intuitive way. I think that would be the most beautiful way to move forwards. All of us. We need your intuitive gifts, each and every one of us. We have to become this big global tribe that can work intuitively and from a heart-centered place, as opposed to just working from the ego. So the sun is the ego, but Cancer is the heart and the moon. And so maybe you're going to be feeling a little bit of this battle. Maybe with the Four of Swords, you're going to realize where in the past you denied your own intuition for the more logical, ego-driven needs. And I'm going to go, okay, that was what you needed then, but moving forwards, you're not beholden to that. What you can do now is give in to your intuition, give in to the heart, and give in to the moon. I hope it's a beautiful week for you. I hope you enjoy that beautiful eclipse on Tuesday, and I will see you next week. Lots of love to you.